Hello, welcome to another episode of our live stream, My Journey to the Trinity. Um, just kind of like preparing psychologically for the what looks like the inevitable victory of Mr. Mamdani, his ascension to the throne of the Antichrist. I mean, the New York mayor. Uh, that guy Clewa. I blame him, even though I'm a Republican and he's a Republican. And on a personal, when I watch him, I like him. I like his gruff New York personality. Kind of reminds me, even though I never watched Sopranos or nothing like that or Godfather, it kind of reminds me of that kind of personality. And so I wish he would have dropped out. If he dropped out, I think lunkhead Como would have won. And Como is no prize, but he's the lesser of two evils. Um, but there's still a possibility. There's still a possibility that Como can pull through and that he will win. It'd be a real unbelievable if Clewa wins. Um Clewa is, I mean, there is one poll today that seemed to put them on a kind of like as if there is some hope. And, this world is not our home. Oh, excuse me. This world is not our home. And so, while we're in this world, we're going to have tribulation. And Mamdani is part of the tribulation, along with the girls on The View. Hello, Demir. God bless you. Heratich. Yes. So anyway, we'll see what happens. I mean, I think tomorrow is the actual. Um, yeah. So anyway, I wanted to look at a. This is an article about where um, this is. Oh, you know what? I think I maybe did not. Hello, daughter. God bless you. Um, here's okay. Let me see if I could find the. Excuse me, guys. A little late for me tonight. Um, this guy who is Al Sharpton. Uh, call him Reverend Bump and Grind. If you ever watch him dance, he kind of funny. But anyway, this is Al Sharpton. I'm outraged at the ugly Islamophobia that has been used in this campaign against Mamdani. So interesting that I haven't seen Islamophobia that much. Maybe I'm missing, maybe I've missed it, but I haven't really seen it. I've seen the people talking about him being a socialist. about him being a communist. But I haven't heard that much about Islam. Now, I'm concerned. I'm concerned of the way that who's going to be his puppet masters, because he's definitely a puppet. And I'm concerned who is going to be the puppet masters who are, running the show with him. And so I probably Qatar, probably Saudi Arabia, probably Iran, these guys with money and Islamic influence are probably going to be pulling the strings, trying to get maybe a call to prayer 5 times a day in New York City, required Arabic Islamic education in New York schools, and stricter Islamophobia guidelines. Al Sharpton, I am outraged at the ugly Islamophobia. I don't know what he's talking about, but the Muslim community is so much in the shadow. They're taking over Times Square for public prayer, like they do wherever they go. Jesus said to pray, go to your closet and pray, because you're not praying to people, you're praying to God, supposedly. But with Islam, they're praying for people to see them. That's why they got to be out on the street corners. And not all of them are, but lots of them are. In France and Paris. I don't think they do this in their countries, but they come here and do that. So just to show, that they want to take over. So Muslims spokesmen like to trot out the charge frequently as a centerpiece of their bogus claims of Islamophobia. Meanwhile, Sharpton also says, I embrace the Muslim community to come from the shadows. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Muslim community is so much in the shadows, they took over Times Square for public prayer. Sharpton blasts ugly Islamophobia in New York City race as Mamdani attacks Trump on welfare cuts. The Reverend Al Sharpton slammed the ugly Islamophobia sweeping New York City's mayoral race, accusing some of labeling every Muslim a terrorist in order to attack Democratic candidate Zoran Mamdani. Sharpton, an MSNBC host and progressive activist, was speaking at an event he was hosting for Mamdani in Harlem. And the mayoral candidate was throwing jabs too, accusing President Trump of smearing and gutting welfare programs. The Democratic Socialists drew parallels to the Reconstruction era agency created to help newly freed slaves to hammer out his point. Okay. All right. I don't know, to be honest. I haven't seen the Islamophobia. I haven't seen Islamophobia. Okay. But I have seen anti-Christian phobia, if you want to. But, you're allowed in the Democratic Party to spit and urinate on Christians, but you cannot say anything about Islam. Okay. Let's look at, Hillary Clinton. Let's see, is this where she says?
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is back in the news. She appeared on MSNBC's Morning Joe.
Idea that you could turn the clock back and try to recreate a world that never was, dominated by, let's say it, white men of a certain persuasion, a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology.
So she can say that about Christians. That's okay. That's okay. I hope every Christian man took note of that. And let me see. There's also, what's her face? Nancy Pelosi was also talking about evil Christians. Nancy Pelosi, anti-Christian screed. Okay. Let's see if we can see this. It's like
Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. What is wrong with Nancy Pelosi?
Introducing both of us. I'm honored to be with you once again and to be with all of you. Now, I see familiar faces from earlier, but just a few. It's great to be with all of you. Today, since I've come here earlier, we talked about trade in this room with the Ambassador Tai, who was the trade representative under President Biden. That was specific to trade, although there were some questions other than trade in the room. And then we had a conversation with some of your classmates about climate, a smaller group, because that's how they wanted it, so they could all be talking. And now we're here for a broader range of questions. Let me say why I'm so happy to see all of you and to hear Anjali talk about earlier about her aspirations to be a woman, possibly in politics, but certainly in government or in the public arena. There is nothing that is more of an antidote to any poison that is out there that you don't like than winning elections. You win, you rule, and you govern, and that's that. So if you are unhappy with anything, then you take action on it. But in order to do that, understand your power of it all. I've said so many to some of you in other meetings, if you, our inside maneuvering can only do so much. Our outside mobilization is what makes all good things happen because it springs from the people. So I hope in the course of this conversation, you all know your power in this, in whatever field you're in or whatever, knowing your power, knowing why you care about it, know what it is that moves you to act upon it, and that, especially to some of the women in the room, gentlemen, that
Okay, so there's the Democratic Party's hatred of men. Again, just that Jezebel thing there.
it's so necessary. You're so needed in all of this. It doesn't mean women are better than men. It means we need the mix at the table, and that's the way it is. So I'd love to hear your, rather than going on, hear your questions about how you see things, and then I can put them in a perspective if you wish, or just hear more questions. Allison, thank you for honoring us with your presence, and I know you're as eager as I am to hear what the young people have to say. You're people of faith. You go to church on Sunday and pray in church on Sunday and pray on people the rest of the week. What is this?
Go to church, pray in church on Sunday, and pray on people the rest of the week? What? And Al Sharpton is concerned about Islamophobia? Listen to these beautiful words from the Democratic Queen, Jezebel.
Church on Sunday and pray on people the rest of the week. You go to church on Sunday and pray in church on Sunday and pray on people the rest of the week. What is this?
Wow. Talk about Antichrist.
What is this?
Pray on people the rest of the week.
Pray on people the rest of the week. And thank you for honoring us with your presence. And I know you're as eager as I am to hear what the young people have to say. You're people of faith. You go to church on Sunday and pray and people have to say. You're people of faith. You go to church on Sunday and pray and church on Sunday and pray on people the rest of the week.
Okay, that was a blatant attack against Christian men. That's okay. That's okay. CNN's okay with that. Of course they are. But there you have both the two queens of the Democratic Party, Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi. Both of them, spitting at Christians, urinating, pontificating against Christians, and that's okay. That's okay. But Al Sharpton is concerned about Islamophobia. I tell you what, Christians and Jews in New York City better beware about what's coming. Better beware about what's coming, because the Islamists are going to be emboldened with Mamdani, and then the fact that the Democratic Party is so anti-Christian, is so against Christ, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling, and you know what? I just want to play those two videos again. I'd like to videotape that, just because it's unbelievable. First of all, let's go ahead and get our Queen Jezebel here.
About how you see things, and then I can put them in a perspective if you wish, or just hear more questions. Allison, thank you for honoring us with your presence, and I know you're as eager as I am to hear what the young people have to say. You're people of faith. You go to church on Sunday and pray in church on Sunday and pray on people the rest of the week. What is this? What is this?
I have no idea what she's talking about.
I have no idea what she's talking about either, but let's go back to our Hillary as well. Okay, here's Hillary. Wow. I mean, she must have made a covenant with the devil to say something. Oops, sorry about that. I'm not showing it to you guys. Just I wanted to show how anti-Christian the Democratic Party has become, and
by, let's
Take a look.
And the idea that you could turn the clock back and try to recreate a world that never was dominated.
Current administration. Take a look.
And the idea that you could turn the clock back and try to recreate a world that never was dominated by, let's say it, white men of a certain persuasion, a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology, it's just doing such damage to what we should be aiming for. And we were on the path toward that. I mean, imperfectly, lots of, bumps along the way, but I agree with you. We were on the right trajectory.
CBN's Billy Hollowell joins us now. Billy, what did you think about her response?
It's interesting because this march towards progress, you have to ask yourself, well, what does that mean, right? We're talking in this.
I think it's march towards the Antichrist, and it's amazing, man. There you had, and both of them this week are doing this. Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton, both taking time to insult Christians. to spit on Christians. Why do they do they have to do that? Is that part of the Democratic Party now, that you have to spit on Christians? Is that the new plank of the Democratic Party, that you have to insult Christians and spit on Christians? And then complain about Islamophobia too, and bring in, your Islamic candidates and complain about Islamophobia. Really wicked. Seems really, they're just, seems like they're attacking. This is really going anti-Christ, So anyway, just I'm not sure exactly what to think about all this. And then they got Mamdani. It looks like he's, just positioned perfectly. He's got that charisma, he's youthful. He smiles. He smiles a lot. He raps. Kind of got the youthfulness. Doesn't work. Has never had a job. That's really attractive to some people. So that seems to be something that New York wants, and now I know there's a lot of, the louder Islam gets, the more smart people will read their books and expose them. I hope so. I hope people will start, maybe this is something that has to happen to wake people up. But, I tell you what, he's going to have Saudi puppet masters and Qatari puppet masters for sure. Even though, in America, there's this Islamist program, like Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, who is probably my cousin. I'll just need to say that. She's Palestinian from a village not too far from where my village is. And she's, they pretty much are focused on very left-wing politics, as is Mamdani. Mamdani's into the LGBT scene, into tranny, and taking pictures with them, just like Kamala Harris did, and also wanting to legalize prostitution and, regulate prostitution as part of the part of his way of raising money for New York City. So, it doesn't sound like he's doing Islamic things, but on the other hand, he is. And it's just interesting that, two of the biggest feminazi leaders of the Democratic Party are spitting at Christians. They're spitting at Christians. I just find that, galling, infuriating. That's why men can't be Democrats anymore. That's why men have left the Democratic Party, because you can't be a man and be a Democrat, And Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi, Andrew. Let me just show it to you again. I'll just play it again and again. But here's Hillary Clinton spitting at Christian men. Of course, we don't expect anything more from her.
Recreate a world that never was, dominated by, let's say it, white men of a certain persuasion, a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology.
And then let's look at Nancy Pelosi. Oh, shoot. Need to let me just show you this here. Nancy Pelosi was even more, she spit more. She has more conviction
But
in
if
her.
there's anyone who's a
And then I can put them in a, and that especially to some of the women in the room, gentlemen, that it's so necessary. You're so needed in all of this. It doesn't mean women are better than men. It means we need the mix
Yeah, to the Democrats, they are.
at the table, and that's the way it is. So I'd love to hear your, rather than going on, hear your questions about how you see things, and then I can put them in a perspective if you wish, or just hear more questions. Allison, thank you for honoring us with your presence, and I know you're as eager as I am to hear what the young people have to say.
Absolutely.
You're people of faith. You go to church on Sunday and pray in church on Sunday and pray on people the rest of the week. What is this? What is this?
Okay, so you pray, go to church and pray on Sunday, and then you pray on people the rest of the week. So you got both Hillary and Nancy spitting on Christians, while you got Al Sharpton decrying so-called Islamophobia against Mamdani. So is it open season on Christian men, Hillary? Is it open season, you guys, Nancy, on Christian men? Well, Jesus said that there's going to be many false prophets, many antichrists. And you know what? It'll be surprising. But you guys, the Bible says that this is what's going to happen, that many false prophets, prophetesses will arise, okay, and mislead many. And they will persecute the Christians, persecuting Christians like they're doing in Nigeria. I mean, I'm not saying that Hillary and Nancy, are to the point of doing what they're doing in Nigeria. Over there, they're killing the Christians, but man, what if one of the crazy people who listen to Hillary and Pelosi, what if one of the crazy people that listens to them says, oh, okay, I get it. These guys are evil and we need to take care of them. And so, that's the problem with the Democratic Party. There's so many wackos in it. And so you incite them with words like that. It sounds like incitement to me. This may not be legal incitement, but it sounds like incitement to me. Yeah. TH says, a time is coming when anyone who kills you will think he is doing God's service. And in Islam, that's absolutely true. It says, fight those who believe not in Allah and the last day, nor forbid what Allah and his messenger forbid of those who were given the book. So this is here, chapter 929 of the Quran, giving permission to persecute Christians and Jews and to take their money. And there was even there was this too. Somebody sent this to me. Let me see if I can find it. I'm not sure if I can. There was an imam. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it, but he actually says that Muslims need to start taking jizya, taking money from non-Muslims. And now I know you can't do that in America because we have laws. But I mean, the fact that he's willing to say that online, is just amazing. It's astounding that he's willing to do that online. Let me see if I can find that. Somebody sent that to me. Um, okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find it. But somebody sent that to me, and I was like, whoa. This guy is, I mean, it's like they're getting ready. Hello, Tim. God bless you. Malone Labe. I don't know, Tim, if you saw these videos. I've been playing these videos. The big complaint is that, Mamdani he's poised to win. I mean, he looks like he's going to win tomorrow and be the mayor of the most powerful city in the world. Most powerful city in the world. And then there's another Muslim who's in charge of the second most powerful city in the world, London. So New York and London are both controlled by Muslims who are very much puppets of the Middle East and not Israel. And so just interesting. But I don't know if you saw this video here. Let me show you these videos. While they're complaining about Islamophobia, look what Nancy Pelosi says about Christians, Tim. Look at this.
You wish, or just hear more questions. Allison, thank you for honoring us with your presence. And I know you're as eager as I am to hear what the young people have to say.
Absolutely.
You're people of faith. You go to church on Sunday and pray in church on Sunday and pray on people the rest of the week. What is this? What is this?
So you go to church and pray on Sunday and then pray on people the rest of the week. What is this? What is this? That's Nancy Pelosi, and then the other Queen Jezebel of the Democratic Party. Let me see. Okay, here. Watch this, Tim. This is beautiful.
That you could turn the clock back and try to recreate a world that never was, dominated by, let's say it, white men of a certain persuasion, a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology. It's just doing such damage to what we should be aiming for. And we were on the path toward that. I mean, imperfectly, lots of bumps along the way, but I agree with you. We were on the right trajectory.
CBN's Billy Hollow.
So there you have Nancy and Hillary. Nancy and Hillary taking shots and spitting on Christians. And, the reason that I'm kind of, drilling down on this is because we have, on the other hand, we have, on the other hand, we have an outraged Al Sharpton outrage at ugly Islamophobia because of the treatment that Mamdani, who has been just been worshipped. I mean, just look at the girls on the View. I mean, they were just going all gaga over this guy, just loving on him and showing how wonderful he is and smiling with him, that big smile. And it's like Islamophobia. And they're complaining about that while they're spitting on Christians. And it just like, it just concerns me when I see that, because I think that, the election of Mamdani is going to encourage Democrats to do this, and Hillary and Nancy and the rest of them, to continue spitting and urinating on Christians, especially Christian men and white Christian men, especially on Christian white men. And you know, I'm not really white. I'm kind of white. I'm half white, you know, but so I'm not really defending myself here, especially from the racial aspect, because I'm really not white. Kind of considered a minority, part white, but even from my mother's side, you know, which isn't really considered white, I'm kind of considered maybe Latino, maybe on my mother's side, because I'm from Brazil. My mother's from Brazil, so we're not really considered white on that side either. And my dad, of course, is Arabic, and so you know, it's not really my fight, but I don't like it. I don't like when I see them going after Christians like that, spitting on Christians and urinating on Christians like that. You know, Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi and the Democratic Party. There was an interview, CCP head Puba, after the Soviet, when asked why that happened, he says, it was Christians. It won't happen here. Okay, yeah, well, it won't happen in New York City probably for very long either, you know. They're probably going to have new restrictions against Christians and Jews. So, you know, I mean, I lived in the Gaza Strip and I lived in the Middle East, and I saw persecution of Christians there. And I always wonder, why did America get spared? And so I think, you know, it's coming around now to America too. And you know, and am I being this doom and gloom about Mamdani coming on? You know what? I'm not. And if it comes, you know, we welcome Islamic persecution of Christians like they do in Nigeria and in Pakistan and Afghanistan and Iran. And, you know, we welcome it, you know, we don't, and I know we don't want it. I'm not saying we want it, but, you know, if it comes, we're ready for it, you know, and take a stand for the Lord Jesus and to be called. You know, I think in America, the thing that rather than actual physical persecution, even though there is that, like what happened to Charlie Kirk, even though there is the physical violence and persecution, in America right now, it's mostly words, like what Hillary Clinton just said, you know, against white men of a particular religion. And then Nancy Pelosi saying you pray on Sunday and then pray on people the rest of the week. What does she mean by pray on people? Does she mean that in kind of a sexual way, or what does she mean? You pray on people. These anti-Christian witches. So, and then Al Sharpton's complaint is that there's Islamophobia because some people have mentioned are concerned about Mamdani, concerned about the fact, you know, concerned about the fact that Mamdani will not condemn Hamas. You know, okay, this is from the New York Post. Let's just look at it. The New York Post is the only media that has half a brain. And you know, one way you can tell which media to trust, if the rest of the media is against them and speaking down, like, you know, Katie Couric and CNN, that they're all against, you know, when they are all speaking against a particular media, that's the one that I trust, you know, because I hate it when all the media, I used to be in media, I got a degree in journalism, I worked in, when all of the media, you know, the New York Times, CNN, Katie Couric, you know, ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, when they all come together and they're all in agreement, that's when I know, you know what? They're fighting Jesus. There's something antichrist that they are supporting. I saw that when there was a candidate named Christine O'Donnell, and she was running for something in the Northeast. I can't remember, maybe Senate or something. And they went after her with filth. It was so filthy what they did to her. All of them, NBC, CBS, ABC, New York Times, Washington Post, all of them joined in. And it was this big, you know, demonic celebration against Christine O'Donnell, who was a Christian. And then Sarah Palin, look what they did to her. You know, the New York Times blamed her for the shooting in Arizona. And, you know, that's the way the media feels about Christians. They hate Christians. CNN hates Christians, you know. And so now you got Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi, you know, defecating on Christians, you know. Sorry, I'm getting a little graphic and disgusting, but it's infuriating because all the complaints are Islamophobia, Islamophobia, while they're spitting on Christians and almost blatant kind of discrimination against Christians. You know, it's just not fair. Okay, and against white Christian men, against white Christian men. And again, I'm not a white Christian man. I'm a Christian man, but I'm not white, you know, so I'm not, it's not really my fight, but I don't like it. And I don't, and it's just another racism, another discrimination, religious discrimination. And the problem isn't that Hillary's going to do it. She's not going to do something evil, or Nancy Pelosi. They can barely walk. But they're so powerful and influential that their followers, who are wackos, they're the ones that could be incited to do something stupid, you know. So number one, these are the reasons that New York Post says Mamdani should not be the mayor. Number one, he hates the police. He called the New York Police Department racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety. That's the left-wing communist mantra right there. Defund the police. Okay. Okay. Another reason he should not be mayor is he really hates the police. Number two, he really hates the police. The number of officers in New York is the lowest level in 20 years, below 34,000. Outgoing mayor Eric Adams wanted to increase the ranks to 40,000 by 2028. Mamdani insists on no additions. But you know what they have in Brooklyn? They have an Islamic police force in Brooklyn. They have an Islamic police force. And I don't know if that Islamic police force is weaponized, you know, if they are allowed to carry weapons, but I wouldn't be surprised. Number three, he hates the police with a splash of anti-Semitism. Okay. This is something he said. We had to make it clear that when the boot of the New York Police Department is on your neck, it has been laced by the IDF. Mamdani claimed. So he's the poet too. He's making poetry. It's like anti-Jewish and anti-police, anti-Semitic and anti-police. Number 4, his health plan, his mental health plan is half-baked. Promises of bus, a boondoggle. Now that's where he wants to have free buses for everybody. Just make the whole bus system free. And does that include rich people? Can they ride the bus for free too? Okay. He's never met a failed idea he didn't like. Capitalism is bad, so let's have city-run grocery store with controlled prices. He wants to globalize the Intifada. He won't condemn that either. Okay, to this day, Mamdani refuses to condemn the phrase that calls for the destruction of Israel and killing of Jews. Okay, globalize the Intifada. He won't condemn that. Number 8, he'll cause an international incident. Why? Because he wants to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. So when Netanyahu comes to New York, he's going to arrest him. Interesting. He sides with hate. If you look at his song called Love to the Holy Land 5, Americans who helped finance Hamas were sent to prison for 65 years. Mamdani posed with the gleeful Imam Siraj Wahhaj, a radical, unindicted co-conspirator in 1933 World Trade Center bombing. Number 10, he then claims he's the victim. Okay. He'll put children at risk for sex trafficking. He'll make housing crisis worse. He'll make schools worse. He'll drive us into debt, deeper into debt. All right. He has no experience. Number 19, he was a rapper, a very bad rapper. If you watch David Wood, he did something about it. Very painful to listen to his rap. Okay, when you live in a glass house, you shouldn't cast stones. And so, yes, my rap is also questionable. But I'm not running for mayor of New York. So, and the fact that he hasn't done anything else. Another reason, I think, is his father. His father wants to legitimize like suicide bombers as by calling them not suicide bombers, but calling them something like soldiers, and that's his father. So hope we're not going to be getting any of those soldiers in America. But this is this is the guy who's very likely to win tomorrow. So pray that not happen. The Lord can prevent this from happening. He can have mercy on New York and not allow it to happen. In Jesus' name we pray. All right, you guys. Well, I am checking out here. I'm so tired. I just came home from work. So thank you so much for being with us. And if you haven't done it, please do it now. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. يسوع ساعدني. يسوع سامحني. يسوع ادخل قلبي. We love you, but much more importantly, he loves you. Have a great night.
If you have ever wondered why dull apologists lie so much, it's because on a rare occasion that they tell the truth. This happens.
One of the reasons I accepted Islam was the scientific miracles. I'll be honest with you. And now we know that this whole scientific miracles was absolute nonsense.
You're going to have to repeat that.
That the standard narrative has holes in it. That's what I'm going to say.